In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a movie poster design based off the Wes Anderson film Asteroid City, which has been super popular. And by the way, if you didn't check out our 5 Wes Anderson fonts video, you should check that out. I'll link it in the cards because we're going to use some of those for this video. Now, if you're new to Kittl, I'm so happy that you're watching this. You can actually try out Kittl for free using the link down in the description, and then follow along with this tutorial. So go ahead and sign up and let's get started. Before we dive in, I wanted to show you the movie poster templates we actually have here on Kittl that might be interesting for you to look out if you're trying to go ahead and create your own movie poster, or maybe do some kind of poster design for a friend or family member that really loves film. We already have a lot of really great templates with many more being added to this section in Kittl, so feel free to check that out. Now we're going to hit new project, and I'm going to go with the poster big size right here to create this movie poster. And then what we're going to do is upload our reference. So I've already just taken a picture of the Asteroid City poster. There are a bunch of other ones you may have seen. We're going to use this one as our reference. I'm going to move it to the side, which, by the way, if you hit W, that is your trim view. And so what we're going to do first is grab our background color and use the eyedropper tool to grab that color blue. And once we click, boom, it adjusts that, and we're already a lot of the way there, just getting the color right. And now what we're going to do is find all of these little elements, these desert and canyon elements. And to do that, we are going to rely on our Photos tab with our Photos integration feature. And then all we need to do is go up to the search bar and start looking for what we want. So we're going to look for some desert pictures that might work and find one that has a similar layout. I like this one, and because we don't want this big rock in the way, we're going to use the crop feature, which you can do by right clicking and hitting crop, or you can double click to enter the crop mode. So now I can just drag this anchor to where I want it, and then when I feel comfortable, I can just click out, and that stops the crop. Now, we can flip it the other way. We can keep cropping it. We can keep tweaking it. I actually like it this way because the person is going to be on the left, and we're going to put some canyons and other things over here on the right. But as you can see right here in the reference photo, the sand and the desert is kind of lighter. So to match that, we're going to bring the brightness up on our photo, and now you can already look and see that it is a lot closer, okay? So now what we're going to do is find these little canyons, these little mountain nodes that we are going to put in the background. I'm going to use the same exact method for cropping. However, what I'm going to do is crop around those specific little mountain tops. And then what I can do is actually copy and paste it. I can duplicate it by hitting Command or Control C and V. And then I can just adjust the crop, okay? So I can move the picture to where I want to crop it. And this is how I'm gonna get multiple of these different mountain tops here that I'm gonna put in the background. And then what I can do, select each one of them, and I can remove the background so that I only have the giant mountain there. So once I've done that, now you can see it's really starting to come together when I put these mountains on top of this sand desert layout. I'm going to do the same thing with cactuses. I'm going to do the same thing with this gas can right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with a desert sign. And then I'm going to get a motel sign and an Airstream camper. I just did the same exact method, searching for a photo, removing the background, things like that. Pretty easy to do. Now we've created a new project, and what I'm going to do is add our Kittl logo, and then we're going to create a mock-up of someone wearing a shirt that says Kittl. So now I'm going to change the background to a nice pastel red color that matches the vibe of the other color scheme. Then we can hit mock-up, and we can see who we want to be sporting this shirt that's going to fit with our poster. We can go through and click a couple different people. I think this right here is a great mock-up to use in our poster design. Now, if you were making an actual poster from someone, perhaps you'd want to actually use a photo of them or something, but we're just going to drag in this one that we just downloaded, and then I'm going to hit AI background remover so that we remove the background from this. and then we can position him in our poster design, okay? So let's make him just a little bit bigger, and we're gonna put him down into the left to match the reference photo that we've been looking at for the Asteroid City movie, okay? And so now we can see a couple of issues with him covering up pretty much everything that we worked really hard for in the background, and that's okay because we'll just move it, okay? We'll just move everything to kind of make sense where it needs to go. We'll move some mountains over, move some signs over, some cactuses and things like that, so that things start to look just a little bit more cohesive and the layout looks nice. Hey, real quick, if you're getting value out of this movie poster tutorial, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button and the red subscribe button, and then let me know in the comments, what are you going to do with your movie poster design? Are you actually producing or filming a movie? Or maybe you're wanting to create kind of a funny poster design, or just a poster design for a friend or family member as a gift who is really into film or something like that. Let me know what you plan to do down in the comments, and let's get back to the tutorial. One method you can use is adding a little bit of blur to these background objects so that you have a little bit of depth of field, okay? It's not going to be too terribly noticeable, but it is a cool kind of little trick to use some of that blur for the background so that you actually look like you have some photography that's actually been done. So now we're going to move on to the typography portion. And if you haven't seen our 5 Wes Anderson fonts, definitely go check that out. We're going to use this one, Bungee, which I referenced in that other video. And then what we can do is use our eyedropper tool again to make sure we're getting the colors that are specific to the posters and it's lining up and matching correctly, okay? So that's what we're going to do with this one. So now we've got that yellow that's really nicely there. And then what we need to do is get these reds that are behind the text, the shadow of the text. So now I'm going to add our block shadow, just easy to do with a click like that. I'm going to make it the same angle, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the eyedropper tool again to grab this red. I'm going to grab the farthest red, which is the brightest red. We're going to go ahead and type in creative for our first word. Okay, make that just a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to put crew underneath it, and I'm going to go over here, I'm going to adjust the line height to be very small, put it at 0. If I go ahead and show you the difference here, if I zoom in, you can see that there is a little bit of a gradient effect on this, okay? There's a darkness and there's a lightness to the back of the text. Now, we can't do that feature yet in Kittl, but what we can do is do a little bit of a hack and duplicate this text. So copy, paste on top, so Command or Control C and V. And so now what we can do is, instead of using the block shadow, we can use a drop shadow. And we can use the eyedropper tool and go and grab the darker part of this text. And then all we need to do is change the offset to be a little bit closer. And so you see we have a slight kind of gradiated effect here. Maybe increase the blur ever so slightly. And we can get a composition for this text that's pretty similar to what you see in the movie poster. Maybe not exact, but pretty close. Now, what we're going to do for the quotation marks is use Babus New, because I don't want such a thick quotation mark for this part, and I'm going to use North Road for our filler text for this movie poster and the composition of your subtext information. Okay, so here we're going to put Kittl Presents, which is relatively big, Creative Enterprise by, and then one tactic to use is having the names, the artist names or actors names, bigger. So you see there Tobias Saul and Nicholas Heyman are bigger. Same thing for story by, and then what we're going to do here is directed by all of you. All of you is bigger. And then same thing for Try Kittl for Free, or comes out July 3rd, or whatever it is that you want to do. That text is different in terms of its size for hierarchy. Now what we need to do is go ahead and select some texture, and what we want to do is add grain to tie this all together. Let me zoom in here for you, and we're going to select some grain, okay? And so we can go through a variety of different grain textures here to see which one that we want, but we do want that kind of vintage film motif to shine through. Now, we can go over here and change our opacity slider as much or as little as we want, but we can also change the blending mode. Color burn may not be the specific best one, but we can go and we can try things like soft light, then change our opacity around where we want it. We can also change it to something like overlay, which makes it even more bright, and continue to change our opacity. And One cool thing that you can do is if you're not really getting the effect that you want from one texture, we can just release it with this button right here, and then we can just keep adding textures on top. So we've released that texture, so now we can just add another texture, and I can just continue to mess with the opacity. Maybe we do want this one on color burn, and we can get it to where we want it, having one lighter texture and one darker texture, just like that. So here is our completed Wes Anderson Asteroid City poster design that you can do completely in Kittl with all of the fonts, tools, photos, everything you need is right in Kittl, so I hope you have a ton of fun with this tutorial. Now, if you want to see other tutorials using Kittl, I have these videos here on my right that I know you're going to enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos and features and things like that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.